Like the way that we're going to deal with our shit is all going to look a little bit different in our life. But if you feel like you're at that point in your life where you barely holding on, then you might have to go ahead and break. You might have to go ahead and let God take you down to literally nothing so he can build you back up to be everything. You might have to. And I guess the question is, are you bold enough to do that? Do you have enough faith enough to do that? That's what it comes down to. Because if you do, that broken time might be the thing that changes your life for the better.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Quite literally. Will Tidwell, a younger gentleman.
I wish I didn't have this big heart. People just do nothing but hurt me. Anybody can dream the dream. Anybody can have a goal, but see,
you're gonna be a neighborhood hero. You just keep shining, young king.
Hey, what's going on, man? This is Will Z Tidwell with SpeakUPZee, and you're now tuned into an episode of SpeakUPZee, the podcast. Man, the podcast where we talk about real things with real people. Man, everything from life to business to mental health and everything else in between. Very excited about this episode, man, because I'm hearing straight from the people. I'm just gonna take some questions, some comments, things that I've been seeing on like a lot of my recent content, and I want to kind of just expound on that. And I'm here on live as well, and so man, if anybody here has questions or things they would like me to address, man, please DM me. Message me whatever way you can on any platform, so I can maybe talk about yours on the next episode. Before we get into this episode, we got to do a quick prayer. We got to give, God his time first. Something I struggle with sometimes. I forget sometimes. I'm excited to do the content. I kind of forget, but we're going to give him his time. And then we're going to do about 6 questions. Thinking about breaking this into 2 episodes, part 1, part 2 type of thing. We'll see. We'll see how long it is. But yeah, man, let's do this. Just bow your head with me and let's just talk to God real quick. God, man, we just come in and we just want to thank you for another day of life. And God, thanking you for all that you do for us, day in and day out. Man, you always seem to make a way when we seem like we have no hope left. You always seem to be there at the moment when we feel the loneliest. And God, we just want to give you the time just to let you know how much we appreciate you. God, I need you to wrap your arms around my people tonight. Some people out there that are lost. Some people out there that are hurting. Some people out there that are barely holding on. And God, I ain't gonna lie, man, they need you now more than ever. We need your protection. We need your unconditional love. We need your guidance. We need that peace that only you can bring. God, I ask you to be with my people, man, tonight more than ever. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. And I can tell that some people are lost. I can tell some people are struggling out there because just some of the comments that I'm reading on my content. Very particular content, right? When I'm doing certain prayers, like I remember very vaguely, very specifically rather on one of my videos where I talked about, I hope that you just start to feel like yourself again. Like when you don't have to pretend, you don't have to put on this facade like everything is okay, but you can like really be okay and everything is good, right? And on that video, man, it's doing really well. And so many people said things that just caught my eye. And so I was like, man, let's just do a Q&A where I'm just like able to just address some of those things, but also just answer some general questions that I just received in private. So like I said, it's about 6 things I'm going to address. And we're going to just kind of go from there, okay? I hope this speaks to somebody. I hope it, helps somebody. So let's get right into it, man. So this first one, it said that it says, Z, I'll be honest. I used to struggle to be loyal to my girl, but I really love her, and I'm working to be better. Well, that's the start right there. He said, but it's love in a relationship. Is it supposed to be this boring? And I'm not gonna lie, when I read that, I'm like, okay, I'm not sure how he's using that word boring, but I'll start off by saying this. The relationship should never be boring. But don't take that the way that most people intend for it to be taken, because we hear that cliche really a lot about how the relationship should never be boring. But in reality, sometimes it is going to be boring, because sometimes either one of you or both of you are dealing with things and going through things or feeling things or just dealing with life, dealing with your career, dealing with your family, dealing with just trying to make time for yourself. And sometimes you're just tired. And so there's going to be times and moments in the relationship where it is going to be boring, where it is going to be dry, like where there isn't going to be much romance. There isn't going to be much, communication. Not because anything is wrong, but sometimes I just need some peace and quiet. So it's going to be boring. But see, a lot of people don't want to talk about that, right? And I think that is why so many people are breaking up and so many people are disconnecting so fast these days, because they have this certain image in their head of what love and what a relationship is supposed to look like. And then when they get in one and it starts out that way, but it doesn't stay that way, that's why a lot of times we don't stay. Because what happened? But what happened is that reality set in, and now you're seeing this person's true colors. Now you're seeing this person's true character. Now you're seeing how this person really thinks, how this person really acts, how lazy they are, what type of work ethic they have. Like, now you're seeing the things that make a person, and you got to make a decision in your mind now. In spite of all of that, do I still love them? So sometimes it will be boring. And I think in the boring times, that's when the love sometimes is tested the most. That's when the relationship is tested the most. And if you want me to be honest with you, man, sometimes boring is good. Sometimes boring can save your life. Because what it does is it lets you know on a bigger scale that your name ain't coming up in no mess. You ain't got to worry about nobody having you in the middle or nothing. You ain't got to worry about certain drama in your life. Why? Because you waking up, you coming home you waking up to the love of your life. You going to work, you handling your business. You might hang out with a few friends. You might make a little time for yourself, right? You're going to do those things, but you coming right back home to the love of your life. You're going to travel a little bit. You're going to eat. You're going to be with your family. You're going to take care of the people that matter most. And sometimes, I ain't going to lie, that does seem a little stagnant. But what it also means is that you have a certain level of peace that a lot of people can't obtain. And so I guess don't take that for granted. You know what I mean? Because sometimes boring is good. Sometimes boring is really good. So yes, the relationship is supposed to be that boring sometimes, but I think you also have to keep the balance of keeping it spontaneous, right? Like, we have to have that balance of, I was thinking about you, and this is what I got for you. Let's have a date night, right? Let's go out and have some fun and do something that we usually don't do. Let's take a 48-hour road trip, right? Let's go out to this new restaurant every week and try new things. Let's go wine tasting. Let's go play laser tag. Let's go kart riding. Let's rent a slingshot and just ride around the city and just see how, like, let's ride bikes. Like, you still have to do those things, right? But even in spite of doing those things and being that person and being spontaneous and thinking of that person, sometimes it's still going to be boring, and you got to be okay with that. Sometimes boring is good, but not all the time. All right, so be careful with that. I hope I answered that question. I hope that was valuable. I hope I hope I dropped some gems there for you. But yeah, that's question number 1. Let's do number 2. It said, this one is a little different. This is more about them personally on a mental level. It says, Z, what do I do when I'm at my breaking point? It says, what do I do when I feel like I'm barely holding on? What do we do when you're at that breaking point? I know that's not really the answer that he may be expecting or they may be expecting, but I'm going to be real with you on this. When you get to that point in your life where when you feel like you at that breaking point and you ain't got much left to give, and you barely holding on, and you sitting there drowning in your own tears, or drowning in the weed, or drowning in the liquor, or drowning in whatever it is that you're doing. I'm not judging. Sometimes you got to go ahead and break. Because I think sometimes what puts us through so much pain and what makes us so miserable when we get those low times in our life is that we keep trying to hold on and pretend like we're good, and pretend like we're strong, and pretend like nothing bothers us. We don't want to show the world that we're broken. We don't want to show the world that we're damaged. We don't want them to see that side of us. And a lot of times that's where the depression and the anxiety and feeling miserable, that's where it comes from. Sometimes you got to go ahead and break, and you got to admit that you're broken. But see, this is the thing though. The way God made our bodies, the way that we were built, even when we're broken, we have the ability to be mended back together. That's the way we were built, because you can be broken 1,000 times, but as long as you have breath in your body, you have the ability to be mended back together. And the question is that after you've been broken, after you've gone through what you've gone through, after you have drowned in the tears and drowned in the anxiety and drowned in the depression and drowned in after you've done that, are you willing to take the proper steps in order to see yourself mended back together? What does that look like for you? Because for everybody, it's going to be a little bit different. Nobody is going to heal and get back to themselves or the new version of themselves the same way. But you have to figure out what that looks like for you. Do you have some wounds that you need to heal up? Do you have some people that you need to talk to? Do you need to talk to somebody? Do you have some unresolved conflicts within you that you keep projecting onto other people that you need to deal with? Like, the way that we're going to deal with our shit is all going to look a little bit different in our life. But if you feel like you're at that point in your life where you barely holding on, then you might have to go ahead and break. You might have to go ahead and let God take you down to literally nothing so he can build you back up to be everything. You might have to. And I guess the question is, are you bold enough to do that? Do you have enough faith enough to do that? That's what it comes down to. Because if you do, that broken time might be the thing that changes your life for the better. If you know. So go ahead and break. Or go ahead and admit that you are broken. And then what do? We start taking the proper steps so that we can feel better again. Because God made us that way. I hope that makes sense. I hope that's like real tangible, valuable like advice, because that's what I want to give. I don't just want to sound fucking deep. Like, I want you to be able to like really take this and apply this to your life. If you feel me? Like, don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed of barely holding on. Because you'll be surprised how many people out there that are literally doing the same thing, but they aren't bold enough to admit it. But whoever you are to ask this question, you were. And I'm proud of you for that. Because a lot of us are barely holding on. And again, the thing that really brings us the most pain from the situation is the fact that we try to pretend like everything is okay. And like we're not barely holding on. Until we break anyway. So why not go ahead and just break down to the lowest that you've ever been and be able to admit that and be able to face that, and then you just come back better than you were before. But you got to be willing to take the proper steps. There's no way around it. We literally have to do the work and be willing to figure out what the work is. Because for every single person is different. And I guarantee you, if we were able to have a deeper conversation, and I can help you identify those things. The same way I had to do for myself and for anybody else that I work with. Let's go to the next question, man. This is really good. Um, it says, "What do I do when I feel like I have no one? What do I do when I feel like the only person I have to rely on is myself?" You know, I've been blessed with great people in my life to where I don't have to feel that way anymore, but I know where you're coming from. And I think the number one thing that we have to take into account when we feel like we have no one, when we feel like the only person that we can rely on is ourselves, is first we have to be mindful enough to take care of the only person that we can rely on, and that's you. We have to take the necessary steps in order to make sure that we're okay. Because if you feel like the only person you have to rely on is you, why would you not take care of you? Why would you not make sure that you take the time for yourself? I understand that you may have children. I understand that you got a career. I understand that you got things to deal with. So I understand that you can't just walk away and drop everything and just go on a vacation, or you can't. I get that. But there are small, tangible things in which you can do within your life and in your routine to just make sure that you're good and that you don't break down, because you have so many people and so many things relying on you. But you know, the other half of that coin is that what I've learned is that a lot of people that say that they don't have anybody, man, you have more help around you than you think. You will be surprised how many people are willing to pour into you, are willing to help you, are willing to be there for you. But the problem is, a lot of times, again, like I talked about earlier, sometimes we're so embarrassed and we're so shamed and we're so afraid of being seen as vulnerable to where we never even asked for the help. Or maybe you've asked for the help before and you were rejected, or you were embarrassed, or they gave you the help and then they threw back into your face how they gave you the help. So now you like, fuck it, I ain't never asking nobody for help again. And so now you feel like all I have is me. And you'll be surprised how many people are willing to go to bat for you or willing to go to war for you if you just ask. I know it may hurt your pride. I know it may be embarrassing. I know it may make you feel away. But it's okay to ask. It's okay to trust again. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay to let somebody else in, even though the last person hurt you, or they took advantage of you, or they reminded you of the time when you needed help the most. Like, they took you back to that dark place by throwing it back in your face. I know they did that. But it's okay to trust again. It's okay to ask for help again. It's okay to be vulnerable again, even on the last time you did it. It didn't work out in your favor. Because what I'm learning is that if we don't learn to be, if we don't learn to be vulnerable and humble and show humility, like if we don't learn to do those things, you're going to always feel like you ain't got nobody. And so I'm not attacking the person that asked this question. That's not what I'm doing. Right? My number one thing I told you is that you got to take care of you. If you feel like the only person you have is you, then take care of you. And then the other thing I'm saying is not so much that you have people around you suck it up. But what I'm saying is that if you really look around you, you may have more people around you than you think that are willing to go to war for you. And if you don't, then you need to take the proper steps to start building a new community around yourself. You're going to have to join some things. You're going to have to be on the board of some things. You're going to have to join a couple of clubs. You might have to start going to your gym. Like, the tangibles it takes in order to do that is very realistic. And I think that's the people forget about when it comes to advice, that you have to put yourself out there. It's just like having a business or having a brand. You can't expect anybody to do business with you or come support you or buy something from you if nobody knows about you. It's the same thing in our relationships. You can't expect to build meaningful connections and relationships with people if you never put yourself out there. But again, the reason at times we don't put ourselves out there is because of what we've been through in the past. And we're hesitant. We're like, nah, but last time I did that, this happened. But last time I did that didn't go right. The last time I did that made me feel very weird to be that open with somebody. Whatever it is. So what do you do when you feel like you have no one? Is first, you got to make sure you take care of the only person you can rely on, and that's you. Number two is you got to make sure that you're not too afraid to ask for help, because you may have more people around you than you think that would do anything for you, that love you dearly. You can't be afraid of getting hurt again if you expect to have meaningful relationships. And if you feel like you really do have none and there's nobody in your life, literally everybody is died, dead, and gone, or whatever the case may be, and you really feel that way, then it's time to build new, meaningful connections with people. It's time to build some new community. It's time to put yourself out there, because in a way, like I said, it's just like a brand. You are the brand. And the only way people are going to know about you and see how amazing you are and see how smart you are and see what you bring to the table, the only way you're going to do that is to put yourself out there. And I understand a lot of us are introverts. I'm an introvert. People don't know that, but I really am. I'm nervous on live right now. I'm an introvert for real. But I know if I have a bigger goal that I'm trying to accomplish, some things I'm trying to do in my life, man, I got to put myself out there. Even though having small talk really does nothing for me. And you got to do the same. Man, because we can't do this life shit alone, man. I don't care who you are. You can't. We can't get through it by ourselves. And we weren't meant to. So you have more help than you think, man. And take care of you. That's what I tell you. I love y'all, man. Everybody that's supporting, I appreciate it. Listen to this next one. Let's listen to this next one real quick. It says, and this is not even a question. This was just a comment that somebody made that really stuck out to me, and it was the @Solo38, man. He said something on that video, matter of fact, the one about the prayer, the one where I was just talking about, I hope you feel like yourself again. And I'm gonna get the team to pop the video in so you can see for context when you watch this episode. And I pray you get to that place in your life where you just feel like yourself again. Where you feel like you can be happy and genuinely mean it. Like not having to pretend, not having to, put on this facade like everything is okay. Like actually mean that happiness and feel that happiness. You deserve that. Not everything, all the shit you done been through in your life, man, you deserve that. Just listen to what he said on that video. And I'm gonna put the comment up too. I'm gonna find it. He said, I've been trying for 3 years to feel like myself again. And it's gotten worse. He says, I want to leave this world. I want to leave this world so bad, it feels like the pain will never end. When I lay down at night, it's bad because I don't sleep. He said, the tears just fall on both sides of my face, and that silent cry is real, and I just stay in my room. He said, I'm damaged. And it's kind of go back to the earlier question about being able to barely hold on. I think one of the most important things that he said in his comment is that I'm damaged. And if you really think about it, aren't we all? Don't we all have our scars? Don't we all have the shit that we've been through that nobody would understand? Don't we have those dark things in the back of our closet that we try so hard to forget, but no matter how hard we try, they just don't seem to go away? Don't we all got that? We're all damaged. But I think one of the most beautiful things about this comment, even though it's a very real thing to read, one of the most beautiful things about it was that he was able to admit it. Get ready to tap into the brilliance of Esquire Writing Media. May your ultimate friend when it comes to unleashing the creativity within you and elevating both your personal and your business brand. Everything from crafting compelling stories, content creation, or even venturing into this world of podcasting and speaking in such a dynamic way. Man, Esquire can take care of you. Whether you're a creative genius, building a brand, or just building your own platform, let Esquire Writing Media be the driving force that sets you apart. Man, be sure to follow us at SpeakUPZee.com/Esquire, or you can learn more and shoot us a text at 469-851-7235. We love y'all, man. Now back to the episode. Peace. Because like I said earlier, man, that's half of the battle, is that we're not even willing to admit that we are damaged, that we are messed up, that the shit that I went through in my life, that's not normal. Nobody should have to go through those things. We're not willing to admit that sometimes. And so, my friend, I think the fact that you were able to do that, first of all, that's the most courageous thing that you could have ever done. And the fact that you already know that you are broken, the fact that you already know that you are damaged, now it's a question of, are we going to face the things that makes us feel that way? Are we going to face the things that broke us? I understand it may be dark. It may be off the scale. It may be some shit that I haven't even been through. So I'm not trying to necessarily tell you that it's going to be easy. I'm not doing that. I get it. It's not. But that doesn't mean it's not going to be possible. But again, are you willing to heal up those wounds? Are you willing to have the conversations with the people that hurt you? Are you willing to forgive the people that hurt you? Are you willing to go to therapy if you need to? Like, are you willing to do the work? So that not necessarily that you can forget about what you've been through, but you no longer stay a victim to the things that you've been through in your life. Because nobody deserves to have to stay up all night crying and hurting and tossing and turning because of their past. And because of the shit they've been through, man, that's a terrible way to live. And you deserve better than that. And so hopefully, I hope you find that. And I want to leave everybody with this. I'm going to conclude it with this. I was going to save it, but I don't know. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to let y'all hear it. Listen to this one. It's a new analogy I wrote. A new story I wrote based on a movie I just saw, man. The new movie Twister just came out, right? Twisters. And if you haven't seen it yet, I'm sorry. I'm going to spoil just a little bit of it, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit to really drive home what I'm saying. But I hope it just hits home for somebody if you already seen it, because it's a great movie. Go see it. But in the movie Twisters, man, it's all about tornadoes. It's all about certain parts of the country in America that are basically just tornado valley. Like tornadoes come through like it's nothing. They destroy things. And it follows, in particular, this girl, the main character, Kate. It follows her around as the protagonist of the movie, right? It follows Kate around throughout her life. She's a storm chaser. So she's chasing the tornadoes. And there was a part towards the end of the movie with the guy that she was slowly falling in love with. I can't remember. I'm gonna call him Playboy. I can't remember Playboy's name in the movie, but he's an outstanding actor. He was also in Tom Cruise's movie. He was in that as well. But anyway, in the movie Twisters, man, it was a part towards the end that I'll never forget, where Kate was talking to Playboy, and she was just talking about everything she had been through in her life. How she can never forgive herself, and how she just struggled really to live because of what she had did and what she had been through earlier in the movie. And there was this moment where everything just paused, and Playboy said to Kate, he said, you know, Kate, he said, the thing about tornadoes is that you never truly know how much damage they've done or what level of tornado that it is until after they're gone. After you start walking around and you see how much damage is done and how much is taken from you and how much pain it's put you through. And he said that, I know that you've been through some things, but how much longer are you going to let those things keep taken from you? How much longer are you going to let those things keep destroying you? And when I sat back, I said, man, there are so many Kates in this world. Man, so many people that have been through shit that destroyed them, that made them feel like they could never come back from it. That made them feel like their life was over. But just like my guy said in Twisters, how much longer are you going to keep letting it destroy you? How much longer are you going to let it keep taking from you? Man, how much longer are you going to keep letting it control your life? Man, because I take it a step further, I'm going to go ahead and tell it. Man, in this movie, man, Kate had lost the love of her life. She lost her best friends. Her town was destroyed. And she lost passion for the thing she loved most, and that was chasing storms. And after she had been through all that shit in her life, she stopped living. She let that destroy her. And it was literally ruining her life. And it got to the point where it got to somebody that loved her dearly. They pulled her to the side and they told her straight up. Playboy told her. He said, man, you never know how much damage is done until it's gone. He said, but how much longer are you going to let this thing ruin your life? And so you may have dealt with some shit just as drastic as Kate has. I guess, but what I'm asking you is how much longer are you going to let those things ruin and drag and control your life? Don't you want to live some before you go? Don't you want to do something with your life? Man, how much longer? And you know what, man? I can't think of a better way to end the show than that. Because, I don't know, man. I hope that was just speaking to somebody. I hope that helps somebody. It came from the heart. All off the dome, man. Nothing was written. All this was off the heart tonight. So hopefully it spoke life into somebody and helped somebody. Man, be sure to go on and like, subscribe to this video and to all the other ones that we've done. So much more content on the way. Man, I'm getting to the point where I'm going to start posting 10 times a day, you know, just to be able to really help people, man, because I see how many people are hurting. And I just want to help, you know, using my gift. And so, yeah, man, I hope this episode spoke to somebody and helped somebody's life. Up the prayer, help somebody's life. I hope it helped on the live. I hope some people on the live enjoyed this tonight. Anybody that supported and showed love, man, I appreciate y'all dearly. You feel me? But until next time, man, it concludes another episode of SpeakUPZee the podcast. And I love y'all, man. Peace. Yeah. Hey, what's up? This is Will Z Tidwell with SpeakUPZee. And I just want to take a quick second just to thank you for tuning in to this latest episode of SpeakUPZee the podcast. And my only goal with this platform is to motivate you, inspire you, and educate you around all things life, business, and mental health, whether it's myself or me bringing on a special guest. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. We don't ask for any type of monetary gains or anything like that. The best thing you could do for us is just like and subscribe to the channel. Until next week, we'll see y'all later. Peace.